Wild River, Chapter 32. Can he be trusted? When the last drop of hot chocolate is gone, Mia rinses her cups in the misty rain. The tarp doesn't extend far enough to cover Deke, but he's not complaining. He's not saying much of anything, mostly staring at the ground with downcast eyes. He looks so different. It's almost scary. One minute he's a strong, confident bully, the next he's shrunk to a hollowed out version of himself. Where did the real Deke go? Or is it all an act to gain sympathy? So, how do we do this? I ask Mia. How do we decide what's right? She shakes her head, furious at Deke, or maybe furious at the world. How could you? She shouts at him. What were you thinking? Mia, Amani says, concerned. Mia takes a deep breath, calms herself. Okay, we put him on trial. We make our case for why he needs to stay tied up. He makes his case for why he should be let go. And the three of us have to agree? One way or the other, yes, like a real jury. She strides out, hands on her hips, and confronts Deke. I'll go first, presenting evidence, and then you'll defend yourself. Understood? Deke nods grimly. Speak up, Mia says. There can be no misunderstanding. Your life may depend on it. Yes, understood. You first, then me. Mia retreats from the rain. There's no room to pace under the tarp, but she does the best she can, as if she's ranging around a courtroom, addressing judge and jury. We charge that it's your fault Tony died. If you hadn't told him to steal the backpack, he'd still be alive. I've never seen a person look more miserable than Deacon Bailey. Every word from Mia seems to hit him like a punch to the gut. What do you say to that? Mia demands. Do you deny it? He shakes his head. No, it's true. What happened to Tony is my fault. All he wanted was to be your friend. I know. Friends look out for friends. Friends protect friends. They don't let them die showing off. He was trying to impress you. And what did you do to protect him? Nothing. It happened so fast. We should have been working together, helping each other, all of us. We were stronger together. I was hungry. It made me stupid. Mia comes charging out from under the tarp. Are you serious? This isn't about food. This is just an excuse you needed to be a bully. You enjoyed it, lording it over Tony. You enjoyed trying to scare us because you're the biggest and the strongest. You loved it. Admit it. Deke shakes his head, his face glistening. Admit it! Mia shouts. Okay, you're right, he says. I don't know why, but it was fun. Stupid, stupid fun. Mia frowns. Stupid fun? That's your excuse? Deke slumps against the rope. I get the impression he thinks that staging a trial in the middle of the wilderness is a game Mia made up to torment him. But he's wrong. Mia's trying to do the right thing, the best way she knows how. What will you do if we untie you? Steal the food? Throw more rocks? We could have been killed. That makes him sit up straight and look directly at Mia. No way. We missed on purpose. You expect me to believe that? If I wanted to hurt you, I would have. Maybe I should have. You had all the food. We left a package for you, Mia reminds him. 6 portions, plus a pot to boil the water. That blew my mind, Deke admits. Why'd you do it? Because it was the right thing to do. Like, this is the right thing to do, giving you a chance to defend yourself. Deke might be crying, or maybe not. Hard to know in the rain. I feel bad for him, but not so bad I want to see him untied. Because nobody changes that fast. 1 minute dangerous and violent, the next all sorry for all the rotten things he did. A person like Deacon Bailey can't ever be trusted. Can he? Bullies can't change. Can they? It was all my fault. Deke sounds exhausted and pleading. I admit it, okay? Untie me, please. I'll leave you alone, I promise. He sounds like he means it, but can we trust him with our lives? Chapter 33. What should I do? What happens next is really important, Mia says to me and Amani, keeping her voice low. What we decide could make a difference in whether or not we survive or Deke survives. If we let him go and he messes with us, we might not make it. Tony made one wrong move and it cost him his life. And if we leave Deke tied to the tree, her voice trails off. Critters with big teeth, I say. Mountain lions, bears, wolves, Amani says. I'm pretty sure they have wolves in Montana. I can hear you, Deke shouts, his voice cracking. Mia marches out to where he's lashed to the tree. Okay, fine. Your turn. Convince us we should let you go. He looks up at her, his expression puzzled. You want me to beg? Okay, I'll beg. No begging. Explain why we can trust you. Because Tony's dead, and I should have saved him, and I'm sick of this fighting with you guys. He looks angry, but not at us. He's angry at himself. Mia turns to me and Amani. Do you believe him? I shrug. Amani shakes her head. See? Mia turns back to Deke. You have to convince us you're not lying. What's changed that will make us believe you? Probably nothing, because you've already decided. He sounds dejected. Remember, the verdict has to be unanimous. Convince one of us you'll stop attacking and we'll set you free. He stammers, hesitating. I don't know what to say. You told us you enjoyed being a bully. Bullies lie. Bullies can't be trusted. Deke's head comes up, chin out. That's what you wanted me to say, so I said it. We were just horsing around, okay? I'm not as bad as you think. I never hit anyone, not hard. Never beat anybody up. Mia's getting soaked in the drizzling rain, but she pays it no attention. You called us losers, and that was before the flood. You sneered at all of us. You sneered at the grown-ups who died trying to save us. Every word out of your mouth was dripping with scorn. Like you're the only one in the world who isn't stupid and worthless and beneath your contempt. You threaten us and insist on having everything your way. You use your size and strength to intimidate. That's a bully, Deke. Look it up. Okay, I was a jerk. I did mean things, but I never wanted anybody to die. Mia nods as if maybe she believes him. Explain why you did what you did and why you won't do it again. Deke looks baffled. Did what I did? You mean grab the food? Mia is resolute. Everything! Why you're so cruel? Why you never say a nice thing to anybody? Why you encouraged Tony to make a fool of himself? I told you, because it was fun being big and bad. Stupid fun. Deke, that's how everybody sees you, as a big, mean boy. Sorry, but it's the truth. Some people admire bullies and approve of their behavior, so you probably think you're popular. But you can't really be friends with a bully, not true friends, because a bully will turn on you when it becomes convenient. Deke looked devastated, but maybe he's just feeling sorry for himself. You'll never trust me no matter what I say, so what's the point? Take your vote or whatever. Please, let's just get this over with. He's right. The time has come for making up our minds. Go or stay. Live or die. Which will it be? Chapter 34. The Gleam in Her Eyes. You heard him, Mia said. We have to decide one way or the other. I kept asking Deke to defend himself, to explain why we should trust him, but he never had a good answer. Maybe he doesn't know, I say. People don't always know why they do the things they do, especially the bad things. She looks surprised. Are you defending him? No, I insist, just saying. Amani breaks her silence. What would happen in a real court with a real jury? The judge would give them instructions. Then they deliberate. Deliberating is deciding? Sort of. Deliberate means they examine all the evidence very carefully and discuss it and then decide whether the defendant is guilty or not. And not guilty is the same as innocent? I ask. No. A guilty verdict means the jury finds the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Not guilty means the evidence wasn't there to convict, but it doesn't mean the defendant is innocent. Innocence is not something that can be proved in court. And this isn't a court, Amani says. No, it's us deciding what to do, the team. One for all and all for one. Should we leave him tied up for our own protection or let him go? Get it over with, Deke screams. Just do it. We're trying to be fair, Mia shouts back. She turns to us. I have deliberated and I have decided, so I'll go first. I vote to leave Deacon Bailey tied up. Daniel, have you made up your mind? It's really hard to know what's right or wrong. Sad as it is, I'm not thinking about Tony. He's gone. I'm worried about what Deke might do if we let him loose. I'm worried about losing Mia or Amani. What if he hits them with rocks or shoves them off a cliff? Or me, for that matter. Would he do that? Or has he really changed his ways? I don't know, but I'm not sure that we can take a chance, even if I have to break my own promise about never being mean to a fellow human being. I take a deep breath and say reluctantly, convict. Leave him tied to the tree. Two down, one to go. Amani, have you made up your mind? Amani lifts her head up, standing tall. There's a kind of gleam in her eyes I hadn't noticed before, the gleam of a strong person who has something important to say and is finally getting her chance. Cut him loose, she says. Did you really think I'd let him die when this whole miserable thing is my fault? Mia, for once, is at a loss for words. And me? I'm just plain stunned. What on earth is Amani talking about? Chapter 35. My brave friend. Something about her expression convinces me that Amani is proud of herself for keeping a secret. What secret exactly, she takes her time revealing, warming her hands over the fire, clearing her throat, preparing for whatever she is about to say. My full name is Amani Walker James. I was signed into the program as Amani Walker because I didn't want anyone to know my father is Byron James. Mia's eyes grow as big as saucers. Deke is visibly startled as well as obviously relieved. The new regional middle school exists because of me. This leadership program exists because of me. Not that I wanted either one. It all started 2 years ago when I refused to go back to my prep school. I hated it. I hated having security guards. I hated that everybody knew my dad was super wealthy and super famous. Kids acted weird around me, okay? All I wanted was to be treated normal. More than anything, I wanted to go to a public school and just be a regular person. Wait, Mia says. Deke's parents work for Byron James. How come he didn't recognize you? Amani shrugs. Hundreds of people work for my father. Thousands if you count the ones who help build the inventions or use his patents. Also, my dad has a thing about privacy. He never brings his work home, and he never speaks publicly about the family because he's afraid bad things might happen. Like kidnapping, okay? So it was like a really big deal when he agreed I could go to public school. Your dad invented all kinds of cool stuff. He invented robots, I exclaim, and then feel embarrassed because Amani winces as if she's heard it a million times. No, he invents robotic devices, from surgical and medical assistants to driverless cars, and hundreds of other devices. The point is, the only way he'd let me go to a public school is if he built a new one and made sure it had state of the art science labs. I cried about that for a week. I mean, a new school is a great thing, right? But how could I go there if all my kids knew my dad owned the place? That's when my mom suggested using my middle name as my last. Dad would agree only if I promised to go on this white water thing. He thought it would give me a chance to make friends before the semester starts. I didn't want to go. I personally hate camping because of the bugs and snakes and stuff, but it was the only way. The Project Future Leaders thing in exchange for 1 year as a normal kid. Only 1 year? I asked. It was the most he'd agreed to. 1 year to make real friends, to show other kids who I really am before they get their minds blown. You really hate being your father's kid that much? I ask. She flashes me a look that makes me want to melt into the ground. I love my father. He's totally the best dad in the world. But I hated prep school because so many kids sucked up to me. And some of the parents and teachers too. All because they wanted to get close to this billionaire celebrity. It's so gross. It made me want to lock myself in my room and hide under my bed, which is what I did, and how I started the whole mess. Mia says, none of this is your fault. You didn't break the dam, or get the grown-ups killed, or make Tony dance on the edge of a slippery cliff. No, but if I hadn't wanted to go to public school, we wouldn't be here, and none of this ever would have happened. I'm like the worst entitled rich kid ever. You're no such thing, Mia cries and throws her arms around Amani. You're my brave friend, Mia Amica Brava, and your secret is safe with us, right, Daniel? Totally. To my complete surprise, she turns to Deke. What about you? Can you keep her secret? Without hesitation, he says, "Of course, are you kidding? If I told, my parents would probably get fired. So does this mean you'll let me go?" Mia borrows the jackknife and opens the blade as she approaches the prisoner. "Not exactly," she says. "Do you think we're stupid?" Chapter 36. The Invisible Rope. Mia uses the blade to cut a length of rope. She wraps it around Deke's hands and wrists and ties it, not too tight and not too loose. "I thought you were letting me go," he protests. "We're bringing you with us. You'll hike with us, drink with us, eat with us, rest with us, share whatever danger we might run into, but the ropes stay until you show you can be trusted." "Ropes?" Mia cuts away the rope that holds him to the tree, but leaves a length around his waist. There's an extra 10 feet or so. She hands it to me. "Your new job, Daniel. Keep hold of the rope. If he tries to run or attack any of us, trip him up." Deke doesn't look happy about the situation. "I'm not going to do any of those things. I gave you my word." Mia looks at me and Amani. "Should we tell him?" I shrug. "Why not?" Amani nods. "Okay. We made a pact, the three of us, a Friends Forever pact. We call ourselves the Dream Team because we like the sound of it. Also, because that was the name of an Olympic basketball team. Amani's dad is a big fan, and that's what gave her the idea. It means we've got each other's backs no matter what." Deke has this look, very still, almost blank, like he doesn't want anybody to know what he's thinking. "I get it," he says. "Friends forever. The Dream Team. That's cool." Is he sneering at us? Or is he envious? Impossible to tell. We pack away the tarp and prepare to go, even though the sun will be setting soon enough. Like staying near the scene of the accident would be bad luck, or make us feel spooky about the body in the ravine. Better to hike in the rain for a while and put a few miles between us. When Amani suggests we get moving, Deke tugs on his rope. "Let me near the edge. There's something I want to say." Mia shrugs. "Why not?" But gives me a look that says, "Be careful." I stop Deke a few feet from the edge. Last thing we need is another accident. He looks down at the mound of stones covering the body. He places his roped up hands over his heart and with a strong voice shouts, "Sorry, Tony. Sorry, sorry, I'm so sorry. I should have protected you." He turns away from the cliff, shaking his head. The sadness in his eyes looks real to me. "Wait," Mia says. "He's right. We need to say a few things." We gather at the edge, although not as close as Deke went. What do we say? It makes me feel stupid having to ask, but I've never been to a funeral. Mia shakes her head embarrassed. "I don't know, but something. Amani, any ideas?" Amani nods firmly. "We should say a prayer." We bow our heads. "God, we want you to know that Anthony Meeks wasn't bad, not in his heart. He did stupid things sometimes, but please forgive him. We do. We forgive him. Amen." "Amen," we echo. We trudge along the river for an hour and then make camp, rigging the tarp, making a fire, boiling water, sharing a meal. There's not much talk and no joking around. We can feel him back there, under the stones, tugging at us with an invisible rope, reminding us what happened, asking us without words that we never forget him. We never do. And that's the end of the chapter and the end of day 5. Day 6. Chapter 37. Between a Scream and a Crying Out. The next morning things change. Not only that we're escorting a prisoner, the river itself is changing, straightening itself out. The curves are no longer tight and crazy. The high ravine walls get lower and lower until finally we're hiking at river level, with a forest of aspen trees running up to the water's edge. And the rain has stopped, at least for now. The clouds remain low and dark, with tendrils of mist that reach almost to the ground. It's a great relief not to be showered on, or drizzled on, or pelted by a downpour. We're all feeling better, excited to think that our rescue might be around the next slow bend. Mia's in especially good mood. "When we get back, I am never eating freeze-dried anything ever again. Everything fresh." "Know what I miss?" Amani says. "Breakfast cereal with cold milk. Honey Nut Cheerios. They rock the bowl." Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Just the words make my mouth water. "What about you, Deke? What food do you miss?" He keeps trudging along, not saying a word. I have to hurry to keep up with him. "Deke, earth to Deke." He turns to look at Amani. Don't pretend you care. I'll be a good little boy. I won't fight the rope, but we all know that when we get back home, you're going to tell everyone that Tony was my fault. I'm the bad guy. You're the heroes. That's your story. Mia says, Deke, take a chill pill. We might surprise you. Whatever, let's get rescued. Let's get this over with. He charges ahead, dragging me along. We cover a couple of miles like that before Deke stops to drink from the river. A few minutes go by before Mia and Amani catch up. But it's not like Deke is trying to escape. Like he says, he's in a hurry to get it over with, whatever shame or punishment is coming his way. The way he's acting, sneering at himself, I'm pretty sure he thinks he deserves it. I ask myself again, can a bully change? Later in the afternoon, the river changes again. It gets narrow and fast, and we can hear the rapids in the distance. The river banks we've been hiking along have been clean for miles, but now we're coming upon places of broken trees that have been driven ashore. Evidence of the busted dam, and a pain for us, because we have to find a way around the piles of debris, and that takes extra time and effort. For me, it's a painful reminder of that terrible night, the earth shaking roar of the dam destroyed, and the killing flood that followed. That night changed everything. One minute we were kids with grown-ups in charge, monitoring and guiding our every move. The next minute, we had to figure it out for ourselves, lost in the rain and lost in other ways too, making choices and decisions no kid should ever have to make. So much for a good mood. Reliving that night makes me long for home, for a wonderful memory that happened just before I left for the Whitewater trip. The 4th of July was a fantastic day with a cookout and fireworks and games and stuff. Best of all, everybody was doing great, especially Dad, who has a new job designing websites. Okay, everybody was doing great except my brother Phil, who was so worried about mountain lions getting me that it gave him tummy problems. That's when we looked it up together, how to survive an attack, and I told him not to worry, I'd be home soon. It hurts that my little brothers must be worried sick, not to mention Mom and Dad. I picture myself walking through the front door of our house unannounced. How shocked and happy they'll be to see me. That should make me happy. But instead, I feel like crying. I'm so homesick. It hurts in my guts and all over. Did you hear that? Deke says. Is that a helicopter? We search the leaden sky, the clouds so low they touch the trees. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that's the sound of the rapids. No, he insists, his expression furiously intense. Not a helicopter. I was wrong. This is higher and very faint. We listen, but hear nothing out of the ordinary. Is this some trick Deke is hatching? Distracting us with imaginary noises while he makes a break for it? Suddenly he's yanking on the rope, dragging me along. Up ahead, I'm sure of it. Mia and Amani struggle to keep up. We're making our own noise, scrambling over piles of busted trees, which makes it even harder to hear. But as Deke urges us along, I start to believe him. A high pitched sound coming and going, a noise both familiar and terrifying, somewhere between a scream and a crying out. We all hear it at the same time and stop in our tracks. Help! 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 The hair lifts on the back of my neck. A woman's voice crying for help.